Imagine standing at the base of the tallest mountain on Earth. The wind is biting your face, the sky above you stretching into forever. You're not here for the first time. You're not a rich tourist, not a seasoned Western climber. You're a woman, a single mother, and you work at a grocery store. You raise 2 daughters alone, and this will be your 10th time climbing Mount Everest. This is the story of Lakpa Sherpa, the woman who defied the odds again and again. Before 2000, climbing women were unheard of. In the year 2000, everything changed. That year, a special expedition was organized, the Nepali Women Millennium Expedition. The goal was simple: send a team of Nepali women to the top of the world. Only one made it. Her name, Lakpa Sherpa. She became the first Nepali woman in history to summit and descend Everest successfully. There were no parades and 0 headlines. She came down the same way she went up, quietly. But what the world ignored that day was the birth of a legend. Before we dive into the story, Lakpa, I would like to say I'm a small channel sharing these incredible and often tragic stories from the world's highest peaks. If you're enjoying this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button and giving this video a like. Thank you so much. And now, let's dive into the heroic story of Lakpa. Born in 1973 in a cave in the Makalu region of eastern Nepal, Lakpa came into the world without access to a hospital, no birth certificate, and no future that anyone could see. Her family were yak herders. Life was hard. She was one of 11 children. The boys went to school. The girls worked. She carried her brothers on her back to school, but never attended herself. By the time she was 15, she was hauling gear up Himalayan trails, first as a porter and later on in the kitchens. Eventually, she became a climber, but in Nepal, female mountaineers were unheard of. To climb, Lakpa had to lie about her gender. No one could find out she was a woman. She hid her identity and climbed for others, carrying loads, setting ropes, helping clients achieve glory, while her name was never written down. In 2003, something remarkable happened. Lakpa returned to Everest, but this time, not alone. She was joined by her younger sister, Ming Kipa, and her brother, Mingma Gelu. Together, the 3 siblings reached the summit, making history once again. They set a Guinness World Record for the first group of 3 siblings to summit Everest together. At just 15 years old, Ming Kipa became the youngest girl to ever reach the top of the world. It was a family triumph carved into the ice of Everest, but still, their story remained largely unknown. She moved to the United States, where she married another climber and had children. But behind the scenes, her life was unraveling. Her marriage turned abusive. She endured violence, silence, fear. In 2012, after a particularly violent incident, Lakpa fled with her 2 daughters. They got into a women's shelter where they lived for 8 months. She had nothing, no home, no money, no protection, just her children. But above all, her will to survive. To feed her family, she took a job at Whole Foods in Connecticut, stocking shelves by day, climbing stairs with water jugs on her back to stay in shape by night. She also worked at 7-Eleven, juggling shifts to provide for her daughters. While the world moved on, Lakpa kept climbing, 1 summit, then 2, then 5, all while working full-time and raising children. In 2016, she reached her 7th summit, breaking the world record for women. That same year, she was recognized by the BBC as one of the 100 most inspirational and influential women in the world. But still, no sponsors, no fame. Her gear was used, her boots were taped. One year, she climbed Everest in a jacket she'd found in the trash. And still, she kept climbing. In 2022, Lakpa Sherpa reached the summit for the 10th time, more than any other woman in history. And in July 2023, she summited K2, the 2nd highest and far more dangerous mountain in the world. It was yet another defiance of what the world expected of her. But what made her record truly historic is everything she had to overcome to achieve it. Language barriers, poverty, domestic abuse, immigration courts, institutional sexism, and above all, invisibility. While male climbers received medals, press tours, and brand deals, Lakba returned home to clock in for another shift. Her story might have remained a secret, forgotten by the headlines, lost in the shadow of the very mountain she conquered, but one filmmaker was listening. Lucy Walker, an Academy Award-nominated director known for capturing extraordinary lives, first heard of Lakba nearly 20 years ago while filming on the slopes of Everest. A woman from a cave in Nepal who had summited the world's tallest mountain again and again while surviving abuse, poverty, and invisibility. Walker couldn't let it go, and she didn't. In 2024, Netflix released Mountain Queen, The Summits of Lakba Sherpa, a powerful, intimate documentary that finally gave Lakba's voice a platform as high as the peaks she'd climbed. The film is part adventure, part emotional reckoning. It traces her brutal early life, her stormy marriage, her quiet years working in American grocery stores, and her return to Everest once more, this time with cameras watching. It shows her training, packing, and climbing. It shows her laughing with her daughters. It shows her remembering the pain. In one unforgettable moment, her daughter Sunny stares at her reflection and says softly, "I see someone that could be somebody." And in that one sentence, everything Lakba had fought for comes into focus. Mountain Queen premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival and was met with standing ovations. Critics called it a fierce, raw, and unforgettable. It won the grand prize at the Kendall Mountain Festival, and later a Peabody Award for storytelling excellence. But perhaps most powerful of all was what it inspired. Alongside the film's release, Lakba partnered with OBB Cares to launch the Climb Any Mountain initiative, a movement designed to help women and marginalized communities find strength, healing, and freedom in the mountains, just as she had. Through Mountain Queen, the world finally sees not just the record-breaking mountaineer, but the mother, the fighter, the survivor, and perhaps most importantly, the woman who refused to be silent any longer. Through it all, Lakba remains humble. She laughs easily. She speaks 5 languages, but jokes that her English is mountain English. She doesn't care much for fame. She climbs because that is what she loves to do, and it's who she is. No one believed she could. Today she runs her own guiding company, Cloudscape Climbing, helping others reach summits they never imagined. She advocates for girls' education and women's independence in Nepal. Her legacy is already shaping the next generation of climbers who finally see someone who looks like them on top of the world. Lakba's story isn't just about Everest, it's about endurance, about being told you don't belong, and climbing anyway. She has become a symbol, not just for women, not just for Nepal, but for anyone who's ever been underestimated, overlooked, or left behind. She once said, "Everest is hard, yes, but not as hard as my life." She's right, the cold didn't stop her, the weight didn't break her. And even when the world wasn't paying attention, she climbed. That is why she earned her title, Mountain Queen. If you found this story inspiring, consider subscribing to the channel. I share stories of courage, resilience, and survival from the world's highest and deadliest peaks. And if you're ever standing at the base of a mountain that feels too big to climb, remember, there's a woman who started with nothing and stood 10 times at the top of the world. Her name is Lakba Sherpa, and she is the Mountain Queen.